Alcohol is a social lubricant that brings people together. In the best case scenario, I don't think you should drink alcohol, but it does allow people an excuse to bond and socialize, and there's probably nothing healthier than having a good time with friends in a safe way.
If you require alcohol to have social interaction, then I don't think that is a good health activity for you, and you might need to chat with somebody about that.
Okay, you noted no alcohol in the current guidelines. Tell us more, Mike.
New Canadian recommendations have kind of come out and recommended that they've shifted from a safe consumption to acknowledging that there's really no safe consumption of alcohol, and instead set it up as a continuum of risk. So 0 drinks per week has multiple benefits. Better health, better sleep, better mood, at least for some. And then, but when you get into like say 2 drinks or less per week, you said this is the new target to likely avoid any alcohol-related consequences for yourself or others. And so, but even that's saying it's not there's no risk, it's low risk. And then going up from there, we'd say 3 to 6 drinks per week. You have risk of developing several types of cancers, like breast or colon cancer, increases at this level, and that will be a moderate risk. And then 7 drinks or more per week, your risk of heart disease or stroke increases significantly at this level, and they call that increasingly high risk. So they don't mention alcohol at all in this new food pyramid. So they don't say moderate consumption, they don't say no consumption, they don't say high consumption. They just totally didn't mention it. Whereas before there was some guidance on saying reducing alcohol intake, but that's not even mentioned here whatsoever. So an interesting omission right now from that food pyramid. One plus is that their hydration benefits, they do recommend water or unsweetened beverages as your choice of fluid. So that's really good to see, but disappointing to see that there's no talk at all about alcohol intake.
They do. They do mention on I think it was page 5. They give one little teeny piece. I'm not going to contradict your statement because what they said, what would they talk about alcohol is so minuscule that it might as well be nothing. Consume less alcohol for better overall health. That's basically nothing. And interestingly enough, there is, going back to the piece that we talked about earlier around the table of recommendations that the advisory committee provided them to look at and consider. One of such recommendations was consider the findings of 2 other expert committees that are addressing alcoholic beverages and health outcomes, which I would imagine relate to what you just said, Mike, and the newer messaging that is out around alcohol intake and there being no safe limit of alcohol consumption. They rejected that recommendation to consider those findings. It's not a partial, it was just a straight up nope. So why? I don't know.
I think the lore that was added on to that, did you guys hear like Dr. Oz's statements on that recommendation there? Which it's so funny to even mention Dr. Oz.
You mean Secretary Mehmet Oz?
Yeah, I can't believe that is what he is. Um, but yeah, he kind of went to chat on about that statement a little bit, and some people were kind of criticizing that, like, why are we kind of like reverting from some of those more specific guidelines on alcohol and then just kind of like dismissing it a little bit. He came out to say that alcohol is a social lubricant, so it can be really beneficial for your health because it helps you be social. And I think it's good to mention that if you require alcohol to have social interaction, then I don't think that is a good health activity for you, and you might need to chat with somebody about that. So yeah, I don't know where that kind of recommendation came from, but that's kind of the narrative that's out there nowadays. Is yeah, it's good for making yourself be social.
I mean, I get it. Socializing is a huge component of health, but not like that. That's, see, I find it. This is where the consistency. There's a severe lack of consistency with the framing of the guidelines because on the one hand, they're stating that these guidelines are the epitome of health, We want to remove anything related to anything social, any socioeconomic components, anything that talks about equity. We want to just talk about what is the best recommendations that people should follow to achieve the best health. Paraphrasing, of course. Yet, let's not acknowledge alcohol in any level of significance, because that, like, you're going to choose a path, just own it and walk down the path of just being like, hey, this is all the best stuff, cool. Just own it, instead of just pick this and pick that and try and frame it as this is the best when it's not.
Yeah, Oz later doubled down and then said that the previous recommendations on restricting alcohol did not have strong, specific scientific evidence to for their basis. So that's good.
I mean, just because he didn't read it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Boom, roasted.
I don't understand how such a statement can even be said.